class is called Morning Mobility, but feel free to do it anytime you want. We're going to start on our backs, checking in with our triple S, or our neutral posture, making sure the back of the skull is on the mat, the shoulder blades, and the sacrum. You can either have your hands right at the front of the pelvis or on the thighs, if that feels better. We're going to do some pelvic tilts while we do our 360 breath. So as you inhale, expand the rib cage front, side, and back. As you exhale, let it all the way out. Knit your front ribs together. Pull the belly down toward the sacrum and lift just the tailbone up. So that's a tilt backwards, a posterior tilt. Now as we inhale, we're going to bring the sacrum back down and tilt the other way, lifting the low back or arching the low back off the ground as the rib cage expands. Exhale, knit the front ribs in, hold the sacrum down, lift the tailbone up. So we're tipping backwards. Inhale, tip the pelvis forward, arch the low back. Exhale, knit those front ribs in. Pull down into the sacrum, lift the tailbone up. One more. Inhale, full 360 inhale. Lift the low back up. Exhale out all the way. Sacrum comes down to the mat, lift the tailbone up. Come to a neutral where the sacrum is down. We're not tipping forward or tipping back. Coming into a bridge pose to start waking up the glutes. So we're going to start moving our big mover muscles, including the glutes. So really dial up those glutes like we're trying to wrap them down toward the heels. Hold that neutral pelvis, drawing those pelvic points in as you lift into a low bridge. We're staying low enough that our ribs don't lift up toward the ceiling. We're knitting those front ribs in. Now again, really firm the glutes. If they start to relax, you can tap on them, so we really want to hold the glutes strong. We're going to bring both arms up, make a fist, and then open and close the fist, doing that fist of fire, fully opening and closing the hands. Start to go as fast as you can in the hands, but don't let anything change in the glutes or the pelvis. So we're working a lot of different things right now. At any point, if you need to lower back down, lower down. Otherwise, we're going to stay up. Left palm up toward the ceiling, pull back across the left fingertips with the right fingers. So we're really stretching that left wrist and forearm. Keep squeezing the glutes. Switch palms, right palm up, pull back across the right fingertips with the left hand. Zipper the pubic bone to the belly button. Hands will come back along the sides of your body. Hold that neutral pelvis. So keep thinking about those pelvic points drawing in. As you slowly lower, starting at the upper back, lowering all the way until the sacrum comes back down. Once the sacrum touches down on the mat, interlace your hands behind your head. Draw your elbows in. Inhale here. Exhale, knit those front ribs in. Pull the belly down toward the sacrum. Inhale to lower. Exhale as you lift. Knit those front ribs in, just like bridge, draw those pelvic points in, lift the pubic bone to the belly. Inhale to lower. Waking up the core, exhale, lift, chin toward the throat, lift the pubic bone to the belly. Hold the sacrum, the low back, on the mat as you pick up the right foot, flexing the right hip. We're going to externally rotate the hip, knee moves to the right, heel swivels to the left. And then internally rotate like you're swiveling that right knee in toward the body. Step it down, inhale to lower. Exhale as you lift. Hold the sacrum down. Imagine the low belly pulling down toward the sacrum. Pick up the left foot, flexing the left hip. Externally rotate, knee moves to the left, heel swivels to the right. Internally rotate, knee spirals in. Step it down, inhale to lower. Exhale as you lift. Draw the belly button down toward the sacrum. Pick up the right foot. Externally rotate, so we're working the hips, our big movers. Internally rotate while we wake up the core. Step it down, inhale to lower. Setting up for better movement today. Exhale as you lift. Pick Pick up the left foot. Zipper the pubic bone to the belly. Externally rotate the left hip. Internally rotate. Step it down. Inhale to lower. Release your arms back down to your sides. Pick up your right foot. You can bring the knee into the torso as much as you want, flexing the hip. And we're just going to start to circle this right hip. So you've done a little bit of that external and internal rotation for the hip, but our hips are a huge joint. We really want them to be lubricated and mobile so that we can be set up for better movement for the rest of the day. Flex that right foot, cross it over the left thigh. Check that the sacrum, the back of the pelvis, is down, the shoulder blades, and the back of the skull. Right hand will start to press the right thigh away. And just checking with that 360 breath in the ribs. Feel that expansive inhale in the ribs. Front, side, and back. Exhale it out all the way. Release that right foot down. Check your triple S. Pick up the left foot. Torso toward the thigh as much as you want. Circle that left hip in both directions. Try not to let the pelvis do the moving. So you don't want the pelvis to rock side to side. We really just want to isolate the movement within that big hip joint. Flex your left foot, cross it over the right thigh. Chin toward the throat so the neck is neutral. Left hand will press the left thigh away. As you're here, draw those pelvic points in. Check in with your breath. Release it down. Roll to your right side, keeping the knees bent. We're going to keep the spine in that neutral position. So imagine a broom touching the back of your skull, shoulder blades, and sacrum. Right arm can rest anywhere. Left arm will lift up and back any amount, only rotating in the thoracic spine. So our left hip hasn't moved. It's stacking right over the right hip, and we're zipping the pubic bone up here. If it feels good, you can gently rock the head side to side. Working on this thoracic rotation, especially in the mornings, we can be really tight here depending on how we sleep. So doing things to move the thoracic spine and open the chest are great movements to do in the morning. Undo the twist, roll back to center. Set up for that same twist on your left side. So we're going to keep that right hip over the left. Right arm can come anywhere. Left arm can come anywhere. Right arm will come on top. Reach it up and out without forcing that right hand down to the ground. Zipper the pubic bone up. Maybe let the head rock side to side. Feeling a big stretch or opening in the front of that right shoulder or right side of the chest. If it's a little bit too much sensation, you can bend that right elbow, doing that goalpost shape. Undo the twist, roll back to center, and we're going to head to quadruped. Setting up for quadruped, shoulders right over your wrist, hips over your knees. Move through cat-cow as slowly as you'd like. You can take any type of cat-cow movements here. You can do our regular cat-cow, flexing and extending the whole spine. You can focus on the low back, the thoracic spine, anything that feels a little tight, especially if this is the first time you're moving today. So just move in any way you'd like. See what feels good. Make sure you're using that big 360 breath. Come back to that neutral spine. We're going to step our right foot through the hands for a low lunge or half kneel and check that pelvis here. So just like bridge pose, we want to draw those pelvic points in and zipper the pubic bone up. Really squeeze this left glute. So again, we want to get our glutes working, setting up that brain-body connection to use our glutes to support us. We're going to reach the arms out nice and wide. Now you can draw back as far as possible, squeezing the shoulder blades in, but don't let that change anything in the front of the body. So we don't want to reach back and arch the back. We want to keep this feeling of zippering the front of the body up. So knit those front ribs in. And then cross your right elbow over your left like you're giving yourself a hug. Pull the front of the throat back. Keep squeezing that left glute. Arms reach out as wide as you can. Really open the chest. Knit those front ribs in. Now give yourself a hug, left elbow on top. Reach the arms out wide. Maybe start to retract or squeeze those shoulder blades in a little bit more. Right elbow on top. Give yourself a hug. Now this time, chin will come down. Lift the pubic bone up. Lift the head. Lower the hands. Shoulders right over your wrists. We're going to step the right foot out for an adductor stretch. So our right foot will step out to the side. Plant the whole foot down with the toes facing forward. Rock forward and back a few times, stretching the adductors, which are some of the muscles that run along the inside of the leg, all the way up toward the pelvis. Now set up for that neutral position in your quadruped with the right leg out. Lift the front of the throat. Right arm will reach out to the side. Rotate just in your rib cage without the pelvis or the hips moving. Maybe 1 or 2 inches to the right. Really feel that opening or stretch in the front of the chest, front of the shoulder. Now we'll exhale, reach this right arm under any amount toward the left. Inhale, rotate your ribs or your thoracic spine to the right. Open the chest. Exhale, reach to the left. So now our ribs are turning a little bit to the left, but the back of the pelvis doesn't move. 1 more, rotate your ribs to the right. Exhale to the left. Plant that right hand down. Right knee steps back to quadruped. Left foot steps through for that low lunge or half kneel. Check that pelvis here. Zipper the pubic bone up. Imagine that broom behind your back so that we're not rounding. We're thinking about that neutral spine. Reach the arms out without flaring the ribs. So we want to knit the front ribs in. Draw those shoulder blades back. Good. Give yourself a hug. Left elbow on top. Squeeze that right glute. Zipper the pubic bone up. Arms reach out as wide as possible. Really broaden the chest without flaring the ribs. Right elbow on top, give yourself a hug. Keep that neutral spine. 1 more, arms reach out wide. Open the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades in. Zipper the pubic bone up. Left elbow on top, give yourself a hug. Chin comes down. Hold here. You can broaden your shoulder blades a little bit, protracting if that feels good. Spreading the shoulder blades apart, but keep that lift in the pubic bone. Come back up, hands come down. Left foot steps out to the side for that adductor stretch. Lift the front of the throat. Imagine that broom behind your back here as you stretch forward and back. Hopefully feeling some kind of sensation or pull or stretch on the inside of that left leg. Come back to that neutral position, left arm out. So we're not going to turn the low body. We're just going to rotate the ribs to the left, maybe 1 or 2 inches. Exhale, reach your left arm under. Turn your ribs any amount to the right without the pelvis changing. Inhale, turn your ribs to the left. Exhale to the right, zipper the pubic bone up. 1 more, inhale, rotate to the left, draw those pelvic points in. Exhale to the right. Bring that left hand down, left knee steps back to quadruped. Take a few rounds of cat-cow to stretch it out. Step your right foot through your hands when you're ready. If you'd like, you can tuck the left toes, coming to that same low lunge. Zipper the pubic bone up. Think about that broom behind your back. Arms are going to dangle, and we'll roll the shoulders back 1 at a time. So we're using that left glute, the core, to hold the pelvis steady so that we can mobilize the shoulder blades, the scapula and the shoulders here as we roll back 1 at a time, noticing any areas that feel a little clicky or a little stuck. And now we'll goalpost the arms. Elbows are bent. Just like when we reach the arms out wide, you can broaden the chest without popping the ribs. So knit those front ribs in. but maybe we squeeze the shoulder blades in a little bit closer toward the spine, as long as we can really zipper up the front of the body, and we're gonna rotate the ribs side to side. So again, move slowly, move with intention, focus on only the ribs turning. So we're not thinking about twisting really big. We're holding the center really strong and just feeling above the pelvis, just the rib cage do the rotation. Hands come down. Right knee steps back to quadruped, left foot steps through. Tuck the toes if you'd like on the right side. Lift up, zipper the pubic bone up. Think about the head stacking over the shoulders, over the pelvis. Roll the shoulders backwards one at a time. So each time we roll backwards, we can stretch and open the front of the chest and shoulders as we mobilize the muscles around the scapula. Keep squeezing that right glute. Goalpost the arms. Knit those front ribs in, but maybe draw the shoulder blades in a little bit. Rotate just the rib cage 1 or 2 inches right and left, but keep that feeling of drawing those pelvic points in, zipping the pubic bone up. So nothing in our low back is doing the twisting. Come back to center, lower the hands, step that left foot back to quadruped. For this last bit, you can stick with cat-cow, you can take child's pose, or you can come to downward dog. And if you're in downward dog, move in whatever way feels good. It might be crouching side to side, bending the knees and turning the knees and toes to one direction. It could be heel lifts one at a time, or both heels if that feels good to stretch out the calves. It can be shoulder shrugs here, lifting and lowering the scapula, gliding them up and down if that feels good to free up some of the tissue in the upper back. So just move in whatever way feels good for the next few breaths. When you're ready, we're going to make our way into standing. You can do that however you'd like. Rise up, check your posture. Imagine that broom behind your back. We're going to take the left ankle, cross it over the right. To make it more stable, you can bend the knees, but check the pelvis. Zipper the pubic bone up, hold that neutral pelvis. Left arm will reach up. Lift the whole left side of the body up as you start to slide this right arm down the right leg. As much as you can, really opening and stretching that left seam of the body. So we're doing that lateral stretch or side bend. Holding that neutral pelvis, keep zipping it up. Let the right ear release to the shoulder. Come back up, uncross the feet. Right ankle behind the left, cross ankle. Bend the knees if that feels better. Keep that feeling of the broom behind your back. Right arm reaches up. Lift the whole right side of the body. Right ribs, right shoulder blade, right fingertips. Left ear releases. Start to slide this left arm down any amount until you feel a good stretch in the right side of the body. Hold that neutral pelvis. Come back up, uncross the feet. Shake anything out that needs to move. Eyes can be open or closed. Bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. Take the biggest breath you've taken today. Letting it all the way out.